a longtime member of the commission, and a former colleague of George's on the TV station. That's correct?
Correct, John.
Thank you. And Joe is not only a member of the commission, but he's the Fanwood Borough historian. He knows more about this place than anybody. And he also knows a lot about George. So I'm going to turn. He can tell you everything, but he'll tell you a few things. I'll turn it over to Joe.
George, pay attention. I'm going to be talking. Okay, Joe.
Will there be a quiz afterward?
At my faltering faculties at this age, I have to write things out. Now I just have to know how to read them. Oh my God, George. We're going to have to open up the second floor. George Weiss and I have known each other for, maybe 45 years. After having retired from our chosen occupation, George asked me to join him in launching TV 35, Fanwood's municipal access station, in 1991. During that time, I learned that George was a deeply committed railroad buff. In the past 10 years, George produced 8 full-length, high-quality railroad documentaries that have been telecast over Channel 35. Any of you railroad buffs, and I recognize you without knowing you, any of you seen any of George's tapes?
Oh, yeah.
George, my goodness. Incidentally, he's in the process of creating what he calls his epic. It's still in production. He's trying to get it edited down to 2 hours. So be patient. This is really an extraordinary achievement for someone who has had no formal training in the craft. Even more extraordinary is that there is 35 minutes of production time in each documentary behind each 1 minute of airtime. I had difficulty finding a suitable story that would ease George up to the podium, but I finally did find one. On a Saturday afternoon, an elderly lady was standing first in line at church to go to confession. You're probably wondering where this is going. Shortly, a priest walked past the line into the confessional. Soon the priest heard a person walk up into the darkness of the confessional and said, "Yes." Which drew the response, "Father, I have a sin to confess." To which he responded, "Yes," and drew the response, "Father, I've had an affair." The priest, remembering that it was an elderly lady who was first in line, asked, "How old are you?" She replied, "I'm 82. "When did this happen?" asked the priest. "About 60 years ago," she said, "but I love to talk about it." By chance, that always goes well with them. Will you be able to contain yourself? George just happens to be 82 years old, and he has had a love affair with steam railroading for over 60 years, and he loves to talk about it. George, you're up.
Thank you, Joe.